Hey guys, it's Sign here with HobbiesofaMan once again. Today we're doing another comic book review. Today we're looking at ThunderCats number 14. This is titled The Ever Living. It's about Mumm-Ra, and this is by Declan Shalvey with art by Drew Moss, and the rest of the team is still the same. And this book needed a bit of an editing pass, to be honest with you. It's not very well done. There's a lot of text that feels sloppy, and almost maybe like it needed a second pass, maybe a third pass actually, because there's one scene where both the Wiley kids say the same thing, and also one of them says something slightly different. Now, there's kind of two concepts, right? If they're twins, they can say the same thing, and that works. Or you can have them say separate things, and then not have them also repeat themselves at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain without showing you, so I guess I will show you real quickly, but I just didn't think that this was a great way to interact with it. So in this thing, so there's two speech bubbles. Each of them leads to a different kit or cat or whatever you want to call them. And one of them says, careful, Panthro, it's Mumm-Ra, blah, 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 blah. And then says something else at the end, right? It says like, he's different from before, right? Whereas the other one says the same thing about Mumm-Ra coming back and returning, but it doesn't say the other part about him being terrifying. So either they both say the same thing or they both say different things, but they can't say the same thing and then one of them say something else again, because it just comes off really, really clunky. It looks like you're reading the same thing over again, and it's kind of confusing, right? And then later on, there's this scene where Panthro has been defeated, and Chitara shows up, right? And so she initially is quite sad, right? And then when Mumm-Ra talks to her, she, gets mad at him and tells him something about never taking a knee unless she sprints. And then she runs at him and yells, "No, not him. Panthro was the best of us. You will not take him," which is something that feels like should have been said before Mumm-Ra challenged her. So it looks like the order of these panels right there is backwards, which I don't necessarily think is a problem. I just think that they need to fix the dialogue, right? And then here, in terms of artwork here, it's kind of unclear how these two characters flew away from each other without any explanation. And I guess there is an explanation, but it's just unclear because of the artwork. So overall, this needs another pass of editing. It was pretty disappointing. I hope that they fix that for the trade, because this sort of stuff should not be happening 14 issues into the series. It hasn't happened before. I've never had anything confusing like this, and this was pretty bad. Actually, it wasn't bad. It was disappointing. It was pretty disappointing that this happened, where too many times in a row in the same issue, we have issues with editing in terms of text, and we have lack of clarity in the order of events, and then in the order of actions, right? Like the blocking is off, which is something I've never experienced with Drew Moss. Even though I don't necessarily love his art style, I've never had an issue with him blocking out things. It's always been pretty clear, and in this case, it kind of wasn't. Maybe Declan Shalvey is kind of flagging a little bit here because he does have other stuff to deal with, like Terminator. Or maybe it's that the editor here was not doing a great job. So I don't know. I'm not really sure. But in terms of the storytelling here, it's not too bad. The Wiley kids, or the Wiley cats, are relaxing. Mumm-Ra suddenly shows up. He yells "Ra" because, that's what he does. And then Panthro saves the kids in the nick of time and then goes off to fight him, right? And Mumm-Ra taunts Panthro by calling out, "Where is Lionel? Do you know where he is?" And Mumm-Ra kind of implies that he ate him. He says he tasted great, and then they fight. And Panthro, of course, is cooked because Mumm-Ra is more powerful than him, especially in his ever-living kind of motif, right? And the kids bring Chitara and Tigra. Chitara rushes Mumm-Ra, and then the Wiley kids seem to have saved her from getting crushed by Mumm-Ra's fist, right? Tigra gets them to regroup and gives the team a plan. They save Panthro, and then Mumm-Ra seems to airbomb or throw himself in a power bomb against the ThunderCats base, right? And he breaks the ThunderCats head. And so suddenly, as the team is, in their darkest moment, Calico shows up and she returns, and she comes through with these little bear people, these bear robots called the BR Blur or something like that. Blur, I guess. They're these robot bears, and they beat Mumm-Ra's ass, apparently, which is pretty funny. I like the concept of Mumm-Ra being this super evil character and also somehow being beat up by little tiny baby robot bears. But at the same time, this really kills the momentum, because you can't have Mumm-Ra constantly show up and fail and then come back and kind of scare the ThunderCats into fighting him again, and then Lion-O hasn't really done anything yet. Like, I get that this is supposed to be the journey of Lion-O into success, but you can't constantly have Mumm-Ra showing up to fight them and then getting beat by other people in a kind of silly way, right? And so Yaga also shows up in his, Jedi Ghost form, flies through Mumm-Ra and manages to chase him off. And then Calico and the ThunderCats come together and they team up in order to rebuild the ThunderCats base. And as this is going on, Calico asks, where is Lion-O? And we see that they went to try to save him, which feels like it should have been its own issue, not like the last page of this issue. And it turns out that he's gone, that he escaped from the sarcophagus, and the ThunderCats base is done, and it looks awesome. And I guess that beyond this, we'll have the start of like the proper ThunderCats story at this point, with all of this being prologue just to set everything up. But it feels like there could have been another issue's worth of story here, or maybe this could have been done better and it was rushed through. And I don't necessarily like that. And maybe that's why the editing here is so bad, because they had to change up things according to what the story dictated, based on how fast things were going, right? Maybe there was an issue where people are not ordering as many books at this point, and so maybe the story had to be cut down from 25 issues to whatever issues, and Declan Shalvey was like, fuck, I guess I gotta speed through this, or there's something else going on behind the scenes that I don't understand, right? And so overall, I think that this was probably the worst issue in terms of being worth the money, because usually when a story is well done from the art and the storytelling perspective, it might still not be worth the money, but a story is definitely not worth the money when there's editing problems, when the story is bad, or kind of skipping through things that maybe you should not skip through, and when the blocking, the artwork is not good. So this was completely, I wouldn't say it's a failure, but it's definitely the worst showing, and that includes comparing it to the last issue, which was kind of a useless kind of waste of time, which was Snarf's story, right? So I don't know. Also, the red door thing shows up a lot, and I understand that that's supposed to be like a kind of way to emphasize that there's kind of travel through dimensions or through time and space, but that has not been clearly explained, or it has been clearly explained too far back, like too many issues ago, and so there has to be some development of that again and some re-explanation about that. And so overall, this issue left me pretty disappointing, which is pretty bad. So those are my thoughts on ThunderCats number 14. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys later.